I had a client show up this week asking me a question that I hear fairly often. She said, Vicki, how will I know if it's the right person for me when I'm dating someone? How will I be sure not to repeat past mistakes? So you won't be surprised to hear that's not the first person who's asked me that question. And I know it weighed heavily on my mind when I was dating also. I was very concerned and worried about repeating past mistakes, not being able to spot the good guys versus the not so good guys for me. So I want to talk to you today about the sticky substance that glues us to past old mistakes and makes it actually more likely that we will repeat those mistakes. And then what it takes to unstick ourselves, to heal, to open up, to create a bigger possibility for our person to show up. Well, when we are holding on to judgments about ourselves, judgments about our past partner, now all of us have some, but when we think back and we say, oh my goodness, I can't believe I am, what was I thinking? How could I have done that? How dumb was I? How wrong was I to stay with this person for so long, or whatever your judgment sounds like? That's a common one I hear for sure, and was definitely one of mine. When we hold on to judgments and we hold on to resentments, whether it's toward ourselves, those are the worst, or toward our ex-partners, it's like glue. It's like a really strong binding to that person and that negative scenario. So the roots of spiritual psychology are all about bringing love, compassion, and forgiveness to the judgments. Because when we bring love and compassion, even if you just simply say, I forgive myself, I actually was doing the best I could do, which is true, we can start to unstick ourselves from our past patterns. Now, modern society teaches us the opposite. When I used to teach parenting for over 20 years, one of my favorite quotes was from a man named Dr. Rudolf Dreikurs, who was an Austrian man, student of Alfred Adler, and father of modern day parenting. He said, modern day respectful parenting, he said, children do not have to suffer to learn. Unfortunately, you and I live in a society that has an opposite framework of, oh, well, if you suffer long enough, if you feel really bad, then you're going to learn. And it's just not true. It's when we bring compassion, love, understanding, patience, forgiveness to our past selves, to our past partners, that things start to shift. So you don't have to be perfect at this. I really want to just make this very clear. You do not have to be perfectly healed and perfectly at peace to find your person. Spirit meets us more than halfway. But if we can just take, and spiritual psychology teaches to have a learning orientation to life, it's called, where we can look back at our past and say, hey, you know what? As a soul, I incarnated here to learn. What if I was just looking back at my past and said, you know what? If I could just learn to do better, how might I show up with myself in relationship to this past relationship and in relationship to this past person? So, abundant forgiveness releases the judgments that keep us stuck to old patterns and old people. How about just forgiving yourself right now? Having an orientation of, hey, what can I learn about this? Instead of being hard on ourselves. Opens the door and creates a magnetic attraction place for your partner, your ideal partner, to enter. I'm cheering wildly for you every step of the way.